Okay, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to go back and repeat a few things very quickly. Okay, I ask for your understanding about this. So when we do not love ourselves, we do not wish the best for ourselves, it's more difficult to correctly care for ourselves. We are more prone to destructive tendencies. It's not easy to accept love from others or give love to others. We drain others with our continuous need for recognition and approval. We feel that we do not deserve love, happiness, health, and loving relationships, and often undermine them and sabotage them. We compare ourselves to others and become very competitive, seeking to prove that we are more worthy or, in some cases, less worthy than others. We lose much time, energy, and money seeking approval and not doing exactly what gives us happiness. We're trying to do what would make others love us. We fear what other people think, and we can even lose our life purpose seeking approval from other people. When we love ourselves and accept ourselves, we care for ourselves, we want the best for ourselves, and it's much easier to love others. In part one, we're going to talk about how we lose our sense of self-worth. And the first reason we lose self-worth is social programming. So let's look at that. We lose our feelings of self-worth often when others accuse us or criticize us or put us down. And the belief here is, the belief that was programmed into our minds from our childhood years, is that I am worthy and lovable only when others accept and love me. And if they don't love me and they criticize me or accuse me, I'm not worthy. Now, this is obviously a childhood programming. It has nothing to do with the truth. Our self-worth is not dependent on what others say or think or their criticism. The second reason we lose our self-worth is when we feel that others are better than us in certain aspects or qualities. We compare ourselves, and when others we evaluate them as better than us, then we feel less self-worth. And when we're in the company of someone we consider that we are better than they are, then we feel worthy. And it's just this going up and down all the time depending on with whom we are. So it's intelligence. We compare ourselves in intelligence, in appearance, in our ability to talk or convince. Some people may compare themselves in artistic ability or professional success or even athletic performance or our ability to cook or the number of acquaintances that we have or our success with the opposite sex. We may feel worthy if we have success, unworthy if we don't. Some people measure themselves by their home's appearance in relationship to other people's homes' appearance. Our wealth. Many people compare themselves in regard to their children, how their children are doing in relationship to how others' children are doing. And we can even bring this tendency to compare ourselves into our spiritual life and compare ourselves in the number of disciplines or the length of time that we employ disciplines or our spiritual activity. So we can, even in our spiritual life, we tend to compare ourselves and feel better or worse, more or less worthy, depending on how we compare to others. Another programming that causes us to lose our feelings of self-worth is if we make a mistake. And the belief here is that I am worthy of love and respect only when I do not make mistakes. Now, not making mistakes means really never doing anything new, never learning a new language, never learning a new hobby, a new technique or method, uh, or music, or whatever it may be, dance, because it's impossible not to make mistakes in an evolutionary process when you're learning something new. So this is a very false programming that you're not worthy if you make a mistake, which blocks many people in their evolutionary process. They prefer after a period of time in their life to do only what they know well and not try anything new because they don't want to make a mistake. Now here's a huge mistake. As you can see, this says here for a civil engineer, there's no such thing as a little mistake. Someone has built this bridge in a way that the road somehow is not connecting. And so another reason that we lose our feeling of self-worth is when we don't get the result that we believe that we should have after making a certain effort. So the belief here is I deserve love and respect only when I get the results I am seeking and others recognize my success. So we have learned to measure ourselves by our results and not by our being. And I will get into that further as we go on. Another reason we may lose our feelings of self-worth is when others are the center of attention and receive the respect and admiration of the group. So I am worthy of love and respect when others pay more attention to me than to others. And we have here the ugly duckling. So the question is, can I feel my self-worth when others are paying more attention to others and less to me? How is my self-worth diminished? It's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's within me. Another reason some people feel less self-worth is, in self-acceptance, is when they do not have an exclusive love relationship, where our partner loves no one else as she or he loves us. And the belief here is that I am worthy of love and respect only when I have an exclusive love partner. And in our day and age, this exclusive love partner may even change through our lives. And we may feel that at any period of our life that our self-worth depends on the specific life partner that we have at that time and love partner, and that if that person doesn't respect us or that person leaves us or prefers someone else, that we are less worthy. This is obviously an illusion. Our self-worth is within us as divine beings and has nothing to do with whether at a specific time in our lives we have an exclusive love relationship or not, or whether our love partner pays attention only to us or pays attention to other people. That does not diminish who we are. Another belief is that we have to be perfect in order to be worthy, and some people put that burden on themselves. They want to have perfect appearance, a perfect home, perfect children. Everything has to be perfect for them in order for them to feel that they are worthy and to feel self-acceptance. Now, this is obviously a huge trap, which can drive a person even to a nervous breakdown when that person is just having so much anxiety about not being perfect and suppressing himself or herself in ways which cause great inner frustration. And often when a person has this attachment to be everything being perfect, a perfectionist, they also create tension for other people who feel the need to pressure so that they will also be perfect or that they will help them to be perfect. So this creates a lot of inner tension. Obviously, no one can be perfect. We're in a process of evolution. We will make mistakes. Anything that we do could be done better. Someone will do it better than we will do it. And so what we need to do here is to transfer our attention to the best effort that we can make and allow the result to be okay. So we need to focus on making our best effort and allowing the results to be whatever they will be, and then continue making our best effort, and again allow the results to be what they will be. To stop evaluating ourselves depending on the effort, on the, excuse me, the result, and evaluate ourselves mono on the effort. Other people have an attachment to doing many things in one day in order to respect themselves. So I am worthy of love and respect only when I do many things in one day. Now, if you have both of these, things have to be perfect and have to do many things, then we're just setting ourselves up for a nervous breakdown and for a lot of conflict and tension with the people around us. So we need to understand that it might be enjoyable, it may be efficient, we may benefit by doing many things in one day, but that does not make us more worthy. That does not increase our self-worth. And what we're trying to say in this webinar is that our self-worth is based on our being, on our divine essence, and cannot be increased or decreased. It cannot be increased because I do something well or because I do many things, and it's not decreased by the opposite. I am who I am, a divine consciousness and a temporary body and mind. And doing things more and doing things better is good. Makes life more enjoyable. It may make my life more comfortable, but it doesn't make me more worthy. My worth is stable. It's exactly what it can be. It cannot be changed. It's unchangeable. Now, other people have an attachment to being strong, or if not being strong, appearing strong, and not showing weakness. So the belief here is that I am worthy of love only when I am strong and do not show weakness. And of course, this creates a lot of inner pressure also, a lot of tension, um, fear of showing weakness, fear of other people seeing our weakness. And this, of course, is a source of suffering for many people. And people that do this often come down with psychosomatic illnesses. That is, they suppress so many feelings and so many needs, and they cannot express needs because they consider needs to be weakness, and they cannot express their fear or their emotions because they consider that to be weakness, that they eventually become ill, psychosomatically ill, because they feel that they are not deserving of love and respect if they are weak or if they show weakness. Now, another attachment that we have is for others to agree with us. We feel that our self-worth is diminished when others do not agree. Now, that could be they may not agree politically, religiously, economically, socially. For some cases, whatever it may be, we need other people to agree with us so that we can feel that we are worthy. If we let go of this belief, we'll have many more harmonious moments with other people, much less tension. We will not need to prove that we are right and that they are wrong. And so many conflicts between couples and parents and children and friends is a result of this need to prove that we are right and the other person is wrong. Being able to agree to disagree and being able to love someone who does not agree with us is extremely important and can be achieved only when we get free from the feeling that we are less worthy if someone doesn't agree with us. And in alignment with this, when others are not satisfied with us, especially our parents and our spouses and of course our children. So the belief is that I am worthy of love and respect only when others agree with me and are satisfied with me. So what we need to do here is to look to our conscience and ask myself, am I okay with my conscience? Am I doing for this person whatever I consider to be appropriate, what I would like that other person to do for me, and not whether that person is satisfied or not? That person may withhold satisfaction as a sort of blackmail or a control mechanism, or in a power fight with us. So at some point we need to get free from the need for others to be satisfied and just examine our conscience and ask ourselves, are we okay here? Are we giving to this person what we consider to be fair and correct? Am I okay with my conscience? and let go of the need for the other to be satisfied. Now, some people also feel guilt and less self-worth when they do not say yes, when someone asks something of us, or when they have to say no. And this is a programming. I am a good boy, I'm a good girl when I say yes, and I'm not good and I'm not worthy when I say no. And many of us actually lose our love because we haven't learned to say no with love. And because saying no is so difficult, we lose our love. What we need to do is to learn that we can say no with love. We can continue to love the other person, even when we say no, and we can continue to deserve the other person's love when we say no. But in order to do that, we have to be able to love the other person when they say no to us. Some people have the belief that their self-worth is dependent on how many gifts that they give to others in relationship to how many gifts the others give to them. And they always feel the need to keep this sort of accounting mechanism in their mind. How many people, how many times the others asked us over for dinner, or what gifts they gave us. And we need to balance this account. So our self-worth has nothing to do with whether we're giving more or giving less. And some people may be programmed to believe that it's smart to give less and receive more. There are two kinds of psychology on this. That I'm really smart if I can get more and give less. And other people, I'm a better person if I give more and receive less. Now, some of us have the belief that we are worthy when others trust us and also confide in us. Now, this is an interesting perception that we feel uncomfortable when we know that someone doesn't want to talk to us, doesn't want to share their feelings or their needs. If that person is aloof, and it's aloof, and this person doesn't like to share, they may have their own fears, their own needs, preventing them from sharing with us. And so we need to be able to feel self-acceptance and self-worth and self-respect even when others have problems and doubt us or fear us or unable to share with us, and allow them their space. Now, it's interesting. I have never really understood this, but I have met a number of people that feel demeaned when other people lie to them. It's as if they're losing their self-worth because the other person is lying to them or fooling them in some way. Um, I don't understand that, why I would lose my self-worth if you tell me a lie. I guess what people are thinking is, well, I must be stupid if they can lie to me or if they can fool me in some way. But this is certainly not a logical thought. If anyone loses their self-worth, it's the person who's lying. But even they do not, because they are souls in the process of evolution who for some reason are fearful, and out of their fear cannot tell the truth. So we are certainly equally worthy when other people lie to us or fool us. Now this is an interesting point, which here in Greece has two aspects. There are two beliefs here. Some people feel worthy when they work a lot, and that causes them to work a lot. And other people feel that it's stupid to work too much, and it's smart if you can get other people to work, and if you can sit around and let them work, that's smart, and then so you're more worthy. So there are two kinds of beliefs, and some people have both beliefs in them, and so they cannot not work. On the other hand, they feel that they're being made fools of because the others are not working, that they're losing their self-worth because the others are not doing as much as they are, that they're being taken advantage of. But on the other hand, if they do not work, they will feel that they are not good because they are not working. So we have two perceptions here. So you have to see if you have one or the other or both. Now, in some societies, especially as we go east, from Europe on east, um, there is a discrimination towards women. And many women are born into families in which they receive the message that they are less worthy than their brothers or than men. And so that creates an inherent feeling of doubt, of self-doubt. And many women, in an attempt to gain their self-worth, try to gain it in male terms by making a lot of money or being very successful in business, which is fine if that is why someone has incarnated, because their soul is neither male nor female. But if we're doing that to gain self-worth, that would be a mistake, because that doesn't improve our self-worth. Nothing does. We are worthy as we are as divine consciousness in a temporary body and mind. But some women from Europe on east, or even in some families, perhaps in the West, may need to work on this and feeling totally equal and not needing to prove any equality, because their equality is to be taken for granted. It's a truth. It's a divine truth. And it cannot be doubted in any way that every woman is totally equal with any man, because there is no woman or man. The soul is neither male nor female. We are divine consciousness in the process of evolution. So some women may need to work on letting go of any such social programming. Another deep form of social programming is that if I was born to a family or to parents or to a single parent or to a mother who at that time in their lives did not want to have another child. They may have had economic problems, their relationship may have been unhappy, they may not have been in a state to have another child. And when the embryo or the newborn infant receives this message that, we really didn't want to have you at this time, that can create a deep self-doubt, very deep self-doubt, self-sabotage, the feeling that I am a burden. And this creates an undermining process throughout life which blocks that soul's progress and happiness. So if this is the case, then one would need to work with techniques for going into the childhood years, perhaps even into the womb, into the embryo state, and remedying this, that is, healing this false perception, because we are not being rejected because someone knew us, met us, and decided we were not worthy. It had nothing to do with who we were. Nothing to do with who we were. It could have been anybody. It could have been any soul. The rejection is towards having another responsibility at this time in our lives. So this is an important issue. Many people probably do not have it, but some people who do have it will need to work on that. Now, the solution for all social programming is to realize that they are all illusions and that our self-worth has nothing to do with any of the above, but rather with the essence of our being. And we will explain that more as we move on. Now, the second source of self-doubt and self-rejection is the matters of conscience. When I have caused pain for another person, and the belief here is that I am an evil person when my action caused pain for others. Now there are two aspects here. One is that I had no intention of causing pain to anyone, but that life has used me in a way without my intention, and someone is causing pain for themselves through their programmings or beliefs, or maybe something happened to them through us. They may have some physical damage, whatever it may be, without that being in any way our intention, an accident of some kind. In this case, it's important to understand that every soul is the creator of his or her reality, and that it would be impossible for us to have an effect on another soul that that soul has not created the possibility of, the cause of within themselves, either by karma or by a soul choice. That that we cannot create an effect for another soul. We can only be the means. And in the same way, another soul cannot be the cause of our reality. It can only be the means. And we attract to ourselves situations through other souls because of our karma and because of our soul choices and because of our belief system, emotions, feelings, and needs, which are attracting from life through other persons sometimes certain realities which may make us unhappy or be damaging to us in some way. So in the first case, it's important to understand that we are not the creator of the other person's reality. Now, if we have done something, we have not been careful, we have had negative feelings, and we have caused pain for another person, then we need to engage into another process of change and then accept ourselves and continue loving ourselves and to forgive ourselves. We're going to go into that now. So the next aspect of conscience is when I am not in harmony with my conscience. I am not a good person and do not deserve love and respect when I behave towards others in ways that I would not like them to behave to me. So this is cause for me to look deeply. Obviously, the conscience is there for a specific reason. We want to be aware when we are not behaving in alignment with our higher selves. And we want to be able to correct that. So this is important. But the guilt that we feel, or the shame, or the pain that we feel is there just for us to start this process of change. It is not there for us to identify with the feeling of being unworthy and to hold on to feelings of guilt for years, or even perhaps until we die, maybe even into the next incarnation. So what do we do when we discover that we have in fact behaved in a way which is not in alignment with our conscience, which is not the way that we would like to behave, and not the way that we would like others to behave to us? The first step is to admit our mistake and ask for forgiveness. Okay, this is the ego doesn't like this. We may not like this, but this is a process of cleansing. It's a process of evolution. By doing this, we are enhancing our evolutionary process. So we admit, yes, I did behave in a way which I do not consider the highest possible behavior, which was not love, and in a way which I would not like you to behave to me. Then, if some damage was done, we seek to correct this damage in any way that we can. We may not be able to. And in such cases, if we cannot correct that damage, we may want to help someone else and correct that damage for someone else, if that makes us feel better. Then we need to analyze and understand the fears, the needs, the beliefs that caused us to behave in this way. What was I feeling? What was I fearing? What was I needing? What was my attachment in that moment which caused me to lie or to become violent or to hurt another person or perhaps even to steal, whatever I may have done? Then we need to discover the new belief that will free us from the old behavior and allow us to behave as we ideally would like to behave. So this is the actual process of evolution. Then you see, we begin now to say, okay, I was believing this, that I was in danger, or that my happiness was in danger, or my freedom was in danger. Now with this new belief, I realize that I am safe, that I am worthy, and I do not need to behave in this way anymore. And so we determined a new way of behaving in that same situation, and then we imagine ourselves doing so. This becomes a process of reprogramming ourselves to behave differently, more in alignment with our conscience the next time we are in a similar situation when, until now, we have behaved not in alignment with our conscience. Then we need to realize that we are not the creators of the other's reality, but that life has used us to give them this experience, just as it uses others to give us this experience, and that this experience is a growth experience for them and for us. That they are learning through this, or they have the option, the possibility of learning if they choose it. They can choose not to. They can choose to be angry and unhappy for the rest of their lives, and that's their choice. We do not need to have their forgiveness. We need only to admit our mistake and ask for forgiveness. Once we have done that, the ball is in their hands, and we do not need them to say, yes, I forgive you. We need simply to be humble enough to say, yes, I made a mistake and I'm sorry, and I ask your forgiveness. Then we need to realize that we actually were not the creator of the other person's reality. We have made a mistake. We have not behaved properly, but that's our own issue. That could happen to the other person only because they chose that as a soul in the process of evolution, either because of karma or as a soul choice, or because they're attracting it by their way of thinking. And then we need to realize that our essence is divine, pure, and always worthy of love and acceptance. That is who we are. We are divine consciousness in a temporary body and mind. And nothing can change that. There's nothing that we can do that could ever make us unacceptable or unloved by the divine. There's nothing that we could ever do that would cause a divine being, incarnated or not, to not love us. That divine being would always understand that we are in this process of evolution, and that it's our ignorance and our fear which causes us to behave in these ways. And we will always be loved. We are always loved by the divine beings. Now, let's move on to some of the concepts for getting free from these illusions. First of all, let's understand the concept of programming. You see this elephant here who is trying to move away with a rope on his leg and a peg. But this elephant has been programmed from a child, a child elephant, a small elephant, that by putting a metal chain and a metallic spike in the earth, that elephant was not able to move. And the elephant becomes programmed that it cannot move. And then eventually they just put a rope and a wooden stake, and the elephant can't get away because the elephant is programmed. It believes, if you can have a belief, that it cannot move away. And this is true. So we have such programmings. We are programmed in our childhood years to feel less lovable, less acceptable, less worthy when others criticize us, when they're not satisfied with us, when our appearance is not what we would like it to be, when others do something better than us. These are all programmings. And as the elephant believes falsely that it cannot walk away, we believe falsely that we are not worthy of love and respect.